And we're back.
Okay, here we All right, here we go. We now are going to have our nice little major portion here, and let me introduce it.
I'll let you.
Okay, allow me to. So, considering all of the things going on in the political landscape, and once again, shout out to my man Billy Bush. I just got to give him a shout out every time. My man, that's my man. Shout out to Billy. But Billy Bush and Trump seem to have had a discussion on a bus about 10 years ago, and for the Trump supporters, they had no problem calling it boys will be boys, even though these are grown-ass men with hair on their pubes. And we wanted to know, is there a time or a place when boys will be boys behavior is acceptable? I mean, is there? And here to help us out is Phoenix's own Kristen Burkhart. What's up, Kristen?
Yay!
All right. Kristen is here to help us discuss with this topic. And, we're just going to sit there and just have a good old time talking about some of this shit.
Well, welcome to have you.
Thank you. All right, good.
Awkward silence.
To be here.
I know. There can be no pregnant pauses. If I look at you, it's like, boom.
I was like, what's going on?
Okay, good. So, obviously, you've seen the videotape.
I have. With
your boy Billy Bush and Donald Trump, having a discussion about, hey, let me just grab her by the pussy and, I don't even wait. Give me the Tic Tac.
Give me the Tic Tacs. I was about to say that.
Give me the Tic Tacs. And see, my whole thing about that, real quick, is people on the Trump side are saying, "Oh, that's not sexual assault. That's boys will be boys." They're just talking. But I'm like, did you not hear him say, "I don't even wait. I just grab her by the pussy"? Like, when people don't wait and just kind of grab your body parts whenever they fit, that to me sounds like sexual assault. I'm just saying. I know people want to vote for the guy, and that's all good and well and done. But that in itself is sexual assault. I couldn't imagine that if it was Barack Obama on there with Billy Bush, that they would just be saying, "Oh, boys will be boys."
It is sexual assault. It's like, when I think about it, I don't think that there's any difference between that and the subtleties that we experience in our country and underlying racism than we do sexism. It's entitlement. It's a sense of entitlement that, it has no place here anymore,
So when do you think there is a time and a place, though? You said it's not acceptable, but is there a time and a place for boys will be boys? Maybe not that particular, but boys will be boys. Is there a time and a place when that is acceptable behavior?
I think it just depends on what you expect of yourself as a human being. I don't speak of people in my life or people out of my life with ill intent or something other than honorable integrity because of how I want to behave as a person. So I think that people can say whatever they want to, but own up to the repercussions of what your behavior is.
Right, and I get that there's what they call it, locker room talk, right? I mean, I grew up around boys and uncles and stuff that, you talk about, they had like posters of girls in bikinis, like in their man caves and stuff, maybe talking about, that girl's got a great butt, or look at that rack on that girl. But there was never, and I can honestly say this from all the times that I've been around my friends, all of my male friends, there hasn't been this conversation of, I do this, I attack her, I grab this, I grab that. It's more like, well, I wish I could, maybe, do this or do that. But there's never this kind of full fruition of this is what I do. It's a different type of language. It's a different type of conversation versus a fantasy versus what I really do.
Right. And I think that no matter how you are approaching it, own your behavior. I think that what has been such not that the whole comment wasn't souring, from hearing it, but what makes it even more so is the non-ownership of what the intent was behind it. And I think that applies to anything.
Right.
My thing is, I've been in the locker room talk with the guys.
No, really?
We've had a whole bunch of. Well, you're trying to act like the expert. Quiet. You have salon talk. All right, so I've been in the barber shop and I've been in the locker room.
So salon talk. I love this. Like these generalities here.
Oh, Janet, I'm telling you, his dick was so. No. Yeah, so
she doesn't go to that kind of salon.
No, that's a different one.
She used to. So, like the way that we talk it's basically based on fantasy. It's just, oh man, her rack was this or whatever. We talk about not even fantasy. It could be reality. Like this is what I did. Oh my god, I smashed. I did this and that. It's like, oh my god, I would like to smash her. A woman come in, she looks dope. It's like, then she leaves. It's like, oh, we're gonna talk about her a little bit. Like that's boys will be boys because that is just what we do. We are visual creatures. We talk about what is visual, what we would like to do. It's not so much, oh man, I wonder what what her favorite color is. It's, oh man, that's not locker room talk. Oh God, and the education that no one cares, bro. We want to know what, where her nipples pierce, where, we want to know this good stuff. And for it to go and bridge, I guess, a gap between misogyny, like true misogyny, to where you're acting upon it, that is dangerous behavior. That's where it gets dangerous, and it's not boys will be boys anymore. That's when, men turn to rapists. That's when, sexual assault is cool. That's when you're teaching your boy growing up that it's all right to touch her. You're just a kid, get your little feels on. That's dangerous behavior, and you're going to wind up, visiting your kid and Sing later on and wondering why he's in there. It's like, oh, how come you didn't treat me like Brock Turner? There's going to be something there's going to be a repercussion over there. But, so the time and place would be, I'd say, barbershop talk that is real. Locker room talk that is real. Boys will be boys. But under the context that you do respect the women that you're talking about. Because I'm going to tell you, even if they do talk, oh man, I'd like to smash and blah, blah, blah. Man, as soon as their wife comes in, boy.
That's a different story. That's a different story.
their back is straight, speaking proper English. It's like, no, ma'am.
Let me think of dinner.
Well, since you're the expert here, I've got a question then. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a conversation, locker room talk, where it shifted? Again, similar to what we now hear this recording. Instead of the fantasy, all of a sudden you hear somebody say, yeah, I grabbed her by this and I grabbed her by that, and that's what I do.
Nobody's ever said that around me. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ever said that I forced myself on something, right? If it was like I grabbed, it was a mutual grab, like, oh man, we were all over ourselves on the kitchen table, this and that. And that's about it. It was never an admission of rape, They would get that awkward silence.
Like, what did he just say?
Like, what he did you just admit
did you guys
to
hear
a
that?
Crime? It's like, did you admit to a crime? You, sir, are going to jail. I'm like, no. Like, nobody's done that. I mean, it's crazy. But I also think that a boys will be boys can also be brought up as in a place on stage. Mm-hmm. So like an Andrew Dice Clay. Okay, he's a misogynist and he's a scumbag, but whether or not he's influencing someone, usually it's, okay, to view this, you're an adult, you got to be an adult, blah, 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 and that's, comedy. But to be able to, and when I'm saying boys will be boys, just in how men act in barbershop talk on a stage. So it's almost bringing it out into public as opposed to putting it out there.
I think there's something to be said, too, for, granted, this man doesn't know 10 years ago that he's running for president.
Right.
But he's still a celebrity. Mm-hmm. At that point, and we've had conversations like this about professional athletes, mm-hmm. people in entertainment. Whether you want to or not, part of the role that you now play is being influential in people's lives, young people's lives. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge responsibility in that. So even if we're talking, barbershop talk or locker room talk, there's a responsibility as a celebrity in this country.
He was in Home Alone too.
Yeah.
With Macaulay fucking Culkin.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Right.
Hey, Macaulay. Grab her by the pussy.
Oh no, Macaulay! Don't listen to him, Macaulay.
That's gonna be Brent's next meme.
Hey, Macaulay. We saw what happened to Macaulay.
With the hands across the face.
No.
He grabbed her. It's like, there can be a time. Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
Who also makes some money. So yeah, you got people that make money off of it.
It's like boys will be, and plus, he's got the backup of Robin also, backing him up. So I guess that's supposed to be the okay factor, which, in a sense, yeah, but no. We don't want to censor everybody for what they say. Otherwise, it'd be a boring world. But, there are influences, like you say, to children and younger people who are coming up where it's like, okay, we've had how many centuries of women being thrown under the bus? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I think we can grow up now. And what's funny is people call that, God, everybody wants to be PC.
Politically correct.
Oh, God,
that's why he says what he says. He doesn't care about being politically correct.
That's why I like him. He says what's on his mind. He acts like it's 1943. Please, what a great time. America was great. And it's like, okay, we've had our time. That's good. But, politically correct to me is just being kind. It's just being polite. Right. It's having manners. If you see a group that says, well, it'd be nice if you stopped calling me that. You're like, oh, God, you want to be political. I should be able to call you that. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Just don't be an asshole.
Like, yeah.
That?
It's like, how about that? But, and I understand people have the right to be assholes, but,
But do you think society makes it so easy for them to get away with this? Like, there's no consequence, to act this way. Trump has been acting this way for decades.
Yeah.
Still making money, still getting wives, still getting the attention, and has not had to deal with any consequence. So then you can just think how that trickles down to so many other men.
Well, because, like Kristen said, he was in the entertainment field. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why. It's weird that there's a difference between the entertainment field, and that's what he doesn't understand, is there's a difference between the entertainment field, when you are on the world stage in that sense, versus the world stage as a president representing 322 million people.
Yeah.
As in that stage, as a misogynist, asshole, jack off, whatever, you represent only yourself. As a president, you represent a nation. So, grabbing her by the pussy without her permission, it doesn't work either way. But it sure as hell doesn't work with boys will be boys as a president.
Right. So that's my thing. It's like, what is it then that society has to do to show that we're not going to put up with this anymore? Yeah, we can have these conversations, but what is it that can be put in place so that little boys now realize that, look, just because this man's got lots of money doesn't mean what he's doing is right.
And not only little boys, but little girls, because there are a lot of people. The craziest thing that I've seen are the women who are supporting this. Like, yeah. Does anyone have to say anything about that? That's what blew my mind. Like, look,
I had sent a text to both of you.
I was about to say,
go
ahead,
I had sent
speak
a text
on it.
to both of you, and it was the woman at one of the rallies, and she's probably late 50s or whatever it was, and had on the T-shirt that said, "Trump, you can grab my pussy." And I think the comment that I said to you two was, I really hope that her mother is alive and has seen that, because she sure as shit doesn't care what her kids think if she has kids. Like, what kind of role model is that?
Well, no, unfortunately, her mom probably gave her the shirt.
Yeah,
Deplorables everywhere.
Right.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why you think it's okay to just agree with that, type of behavior and support it.
Like, what could he possibly be standing for that you feel so strongly compelled to support him on that you are abandoning your human rights?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
Like, you are now an object.
Right.
And it's funny you say that, because Psychology Today actually states, because they're against the boys will be boys behavior, but it states that it limits the full expression of children. And that's what's saying boys will be, that behavior limits the full expression of children. And it doesn't give them the open mind of. It's like, we came up that way, and, barbershop talk is barbershop talk, but, it's true that kids will wind up limiting their behavior. Imagine that. Some of the women who still believe that Trump was, just boys will be boys, they say that all the time, and they are spreading that information to other people who are listening and other little girls who are listening. They are limiting. It's like, oh, well, girls will think, oh, I guess that's okay. And boys will be like, oh, I guess that's okay.
And they're raising daughters. That's what terrifies me.
like that psychologically will mess somebody up if they keep on persisting that just because you want to get someone into the White House.
Mm-hmm. Or because you just think this person is so much better than you. He must be the best thing ever because
oh my God,
he's the emperor has no clothes,
right?
Kind of thing.
New clothes.
That are made in China.
The emperor's naked. That's what's happening.
Naked, grabbing her by the pussy. The emperor grabbed her by the pussy. You asshole emperor.
That's a great children's book.
The revised edition
by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Like no, no, this is crazy.
No.
But yo, unfortunately, the time has passed and we have got to go. But we'd like to thank Kristen Burkhart for coming.
Thank
you.
And I really hope that you had a good time over here at this
thanks for having
Andrea
me.
show.
I appreciate it.
No doubt you're going to have to come back and make sure you spread your knowledge to us a little bit more later.
Let's see what happens after the elections.